And compared to the February record, it is much more, right? So we are seeing a very fast pace of how cases are now rising.
Yeah, that's right. Almost across the board, even in China, which, of course, as we know, is deploying a very different strategy to the rest of the world. We are seeing an uptick, mainly because of these subvariants, BA4, BA5. They are still strains of Omicron, which in itself was more contagious than the variants that came before it, but these are more infectious and do appear to be more impervious to the vaccines when it comes to transmissibility.
Emma, what's happening in Macau? I mean, they're targeting now Filipino residents?
Yeah, very interesting development in Macau late yesterday. So obviously they're about to reopen the casino sector there, which is the bulk of the economy, obviously being welcomed as cases really are coming down. But still an interesting tweak in the way they're deploying the mass testing there. They've said that anyone with a Filipino passport, so Philippine nationals, and even those that are Macau nationals, but still have a Filipino passport, they have to be tested every single day. Now, they say that's because of the social patterns of this ethnic group, makes them more vulnerable to spread and the virus, but it's obviously being criticised quite heavily and has sort of harkens back to some of the more questionable moves we saw earlier this year out of Hong Kong, which also unfairly, some said, targeted helpers and domestic workers there when it came to testing and sort of implying that those groups were responsible for more spread than other groups in the community.
We continue to see these high-risk, medium-risk areas being added in Shanghai. What does that mean in terms of the potential for returning to lockdown?
I think that they're very much trying to avoid, declaring a citywide lockdown, but that doesn't mean that they aren't locking down, as you said, a number of areas every day. We're seeing, 12 to 15 new areas, as they call them, and that can be an apartment block or it can be a neighbourhood locked down for new cases, or even just a close contact having visited the building can see it locked down for a number of days. So in effect, you are seeing vast swathes of the city actually locked down, shut down, people prevented from going out and about without them calling what would be a very contentious and heavily criticised, no doubt, citywide lockdown again. But the effect is kind of similar.